call the meeting to order. I'm just going to come off video because sometimes I still get issues and I can move much faster without taking up the bandwidth. So we're going to, our agenda tonight, calling the meeting to order. Welcome everyone again. My report, I'm going to leave it for the end, only because I'm so grateful to have these two young ladies here. And if the other person shows up, Mr. Velez. So we're going to start with the tax lien instead of the shower bus. And I just want to go ahead and welcome them officially. I was snooping around the internet, so let me just go ahead. And tonight we have Miss Allison Martinez, and Allison and Joan, they're both here to speak about the tax lien. Allison is no stranger to Community Board 17. She's the co-founder of Brooklyn Level Up, and she's been a strong advocate for many initiatives in this community, such as equitable housing, land use, the Flatbush African Burial Ground, zoning, and tonight, tax lien, to name a few. And I remember you were also working on a land trust. So this is Miss Allison Martinez, welcome. And I truly appreciate it. I love that you're here, not to drown out the men, but especially since it's Women's History Month. Ms. Joan Erskine, a member of the board of Brooklyn Level Up, who recently gave a testimony at the City Council's committee. I listened to your testimony, Joan, and I know that you don't have step. When you show up, you truly want something done. So I listened, you ran out of time a little bit, but you were still able to get your point across. So they're both here regarding, Joan works on a lot of, she tries to correct and ensure that there's equity in a lot of different areas in our community as well. She's an advocate for communities of color. So Allison and Joan, welcome. They are here to share info on the tax lien. They're going to respond to questions and they're going to request your support. So I'm going to turn it over to Allison Martinez and to Joan Erskine. Thank you so much for being here, both of you. Happy Women's History Month again.
Well, happy Women's History Month. Allison, shall I just start?
You can. Just let me know that you can see the screen.
Can everybody see the slide?
Yes,
okay.
I can.
Okay.
All
right. So the tax lien sale, it's a property tax enforcement mechanism. And we're going to go through the slides and explain how it works. Could you go back one first, please?
Sure.
All right. So tell you what the tax lien sale is, how to get off the tax lien sale list, how you can get involved as volunteers, and next step, long-term advocacy. I guess I could have skipped that. Let's go on. All right. So I represent Brooklyn Level Up on the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition, which is it's a great title because you know exactly what we do. We do hold workshops and roundtables to educate the community. We've done we are trying to collect more and more people who can testify as to how the tax lien sale has adversely affected them. So once we get through this and we start doing the training, that's something that we're going to be looking for. We did develop an entire alternate scheme for property tax enforcement. We did not persuade the city council to adopt it, but we're still working on that. And so while we have what I call the kinder, gentler tax lien sale, the point of the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition is to get rid of it entirely. Next slide, please. So this is basically how the tax lien sale works. I'm just going to walk you through it. This is a very simplified version. As you all know, if you own a property, you are assessed property taxes. That's pretty much the money that the city runs on, and therefore they are not inherently of themselves evil, although the property tax scheme is I would be the last to argue that the scheme itself is fair. Properties are not taxed equitably in New York City, but nevertheless, property taxes will always be there and always be necessary. If you do not pay, if a homeowner does not pay their property taxes, the city automatically gets a lien on the property. If anybody is unfamiliar with that, that means that that's a financial instrument that allows, when and if the property is sold, whoever has a lien on the property, that lien will be fulfilled before the owner, the seller, gets any of the property. So let's say there's a lien on my property, I sell the property, I don't get the money from the for the lien. That is automatically given to whoever has the lien on my property. In this particular case, it would be the city. They would get their property taxes plus interest and fees. When the lien, so this next one's a little unclear. You can accrue quite a bit of money in liens. Oh, and in New York City, it's not just property taxes, it's people who don't pay their water debts as well. That lien, that produces a lien on this that the city has on the property, and the property tax and the water bill will get bundled together as a lien on the property. When that lien amount reaches a certain threshold, the city puts that property on the tax lien sale list. And that's when the city will start sending 60 and 90-day notices, or they actually send 30, 60, and 90-day notices to properties owners who have liens on their sale. Because what the city does is it takes those liens and it sells it to a trust, and that trust is ministered, bundles the lien as investment instruments, and those investment interests are sold to corporate investors, and then they collect on the liens plus more taxes and more interest because the trust adds more fees to it. And when then the property they sell the liens to the trust. At that point, the property owner can pay off the lien and still own their house, or eventually the investing group can force a sale of the property in order to collect their liens, collect the money. So that's the ultimate end. The city gets, as it says here, the city only gets 72 cents on the dollar, but as far as the city's concerned, they were getting nothing on the dollar, so they think it's a good idea. The tax lien, once the trust has it, that's the next thing. It's definitely, there's more fees. So somebody who was in the hole to begin with is now further in the hole. Foreclosure action. And once there's a foreclosure action, then the property, this is the other prong of the detrimental effect in communities. Once it's moved for foreclosure, it goes up on an auction, and real estate investors know about these auctions, and they go and they buy up the properties. And so what was once a family home now belongs to an investor, and that's the start of it's a large step in the dismantling of a community. So that's pretty much that. This is a very simplified version. There's all kinds of Phillips in it, but that gives you the idea. Anybody can be on the lien sale if you owe depending on the circumstances, between $1,000 and $5,000 in water bills for up to 1 to 3 years. They can sell the lien to the trust. The trust sends bill collectors and add high interest rates, so that what was was an onerous debt becomes more onerous. And this is how people lose their generational wealth to this. The other thing that's not listed here is when the tax lien sale list comes out, it's a public document, and real estate investors know that. They get the list, and they will start knocking on doors. They will start calling people and saying, you're going to lose your property. I will buy it. And they always offer well below market value, so that people will sell their homes rather than go through the whole process. And again, the home is lost to the community. Also, the thing with the investors is it doesn't matter what anybody else bids for the home. Their deep pockets, they can always bid $1,000 more, and by law, the property has to be sold to the highest bidder. Okay, next slide. Now, all the red dots in that picture, which is our community board, pretty much, our community district, those are all properties on the tax lien sale now, this year. So those are our targets to try to help out. Next slide.
So
So this is
that's,
Allison's part.
yep, just how important it is to know. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I'm just letting you know that how important it is that over 1,100 properties in CB17 are on the lien sale list. In CB14, it's about 300. In CB18, there's about 1,100 as well. So this is how widespread in our area this problem is. So what's most important to note is the lien sale is on May 20th of this year, but you can take actions before May 19th, or May 19th is your last day to take action to get off the lien sale list. There are 5 ways to do it. One, you can pay what you owe, which is obviously easier said than done for most people. If they could have paid, they would have, right? Or you can enter a payment plan. There are 4 types of payment plans that are available to people. Some are based on income, being a senior. There are like 4 different options that you can take. We can have a more in-depth conversation about that. Then you can also apply for a property tax exemption, but that's limited to people who are seniors, age 65, veterans, or some nonprofits. And you can be eligible for them, but you must recertify every 2 years, depending on the type of exemptions you can have. And it doesn't mean that having the exemption just means that you are not on the lien sale list. It doesn't mean that you are exempted from the underlying debt. And it only really applies to um, if you say like you get the senior discount, the max senior discount is a 50% discount on property taxes. It only applies to what you pay going forward. There's no retroactive um, cut or to even what you should have been entitled to had you known that you were eligible for an exemption. That is one of the that's some of the work that the campaign is actually working on in the coalition, is to try to see if we can get the state to change that. Also, you must apply for those exemptions if you're eligible for them by March 17th. Technically, they're due on the 15th, but because this year the 15th happens to fall on a Saturday, it's due on the following business day, which is Monday the 17th. So we are really trying to push people who are eligible for any exemptions. You have to earn like less than $107,300. If you're a senior, you have to be 65 plus. It must be your primary residence. You are eligible for an exemption. It will immediately get you off the list. If you're not eligible for any of those exemptions, you can apply for what's called the Tax Lien Sale Easy Exit Program. And it's the submission of the application alone, not having to necessarily be approved, but the submission alone is enough to get you off of the sale for this year. It is not a get out of jail pass. It is only for 1 year, and there's a limit to how many times you can actually apply for the easy exit. But at least it would buy you a year's time to get a payment plan in place or to figure out other options. The other last option that's available is the emergency repair certification plan. However, that is for people who had to get emergency repairs in a building. Let's say HPD came in and said, where the conditions for and it only applies to multifamily. So your conditions in your tenants units is so deplorable that we have to step in and do work. So, and make those repairs. You can fill out a form and get off the lien sale list if you fall in that category as well. Here's also just a QR code to everything about the lien sale, which is on the Department of Finance's website. So now you know a little bit about the lien sale, 5 ways to get off, but you may just be a regular community member and want to figure out, how can I get involved? How can I help and stave off displacement in our community? Because remember, it's homeowners, it's also churches and other institutions, nonprofits that happen to have properties on the list. So that means that we lose many types of spaces. It's not just that individual person's problem, it's a community problem. So if you know someone who's on the lien sale list, which you can check by going on that website, at Department of Finance, that you will see that you can encourage them to take care of some of the options that are there. You can also encourage them to read the 90, 60, and 30-day notices they receive. There's a tendency for people, just as a trauma response, to ignore bad news and not deal with things. And it's the not dealing and the secrecy around not sharing what's happening that means that people in our community lose homes unnecessarily.
Yep.
So if they need help understanding their options, they can reach out to us at 917-680-6964 or email us at info@brooklynlevelup.org. If you want to volunteer, which will actually have a stipend for volunteering, you can join our door knocking campaign where we will go door to door, hopefully through Block associations and other trusted members of the community that people trust, so they know we're not here to be part of the speculator crew that's going to come and try to get you to sell your property for less than it's worth and to scare you out of your home. We're here to help you get off the lien sale list. Our goal is to get the 1,166 homes that are in our community off the list, right? So you can join our door knocking campaign, or you can volunteer at our upcoming community outreach and application sessions. We know that it is difficult for people, even if you give them the form, sometimes they need help filling it out properly and getting the documents they may need together in order to get it to get the exemption that they're entitled to, or to get them off the list. So we'll be doing that at the Clarendon branch of the Brooklyn Public Library, which is at 2035 Notion Avenue, for these few Saturdays. So March 15th and 22nd from 12 to 3, April 12th and 19th from 12 to 3, May 5th, 10th, and 17th from 12 to 3. As we get more and more volunteers, we will train them on how to do the paperwork, and also therefore be able to have, hopefully, utilize the rugby branch as well as another location where we can have these similar dates and people can come and get the assistance that they need. So next steps, long-term advocacy. You can help do this work if it appeals to you, if it matters to you to help your neighbors stay here, by helping to join the abolish the tax lien, the lien sale movement. You can become, as a community member, you can join our organization and be on the committee itself as a coalition member, or individuals can request to become a coalition sponsor. You can spread the word with your networks and social media, by tagging your council member, borough president, and mayor, and letting them know that the mayor is selling the liens of homes. We know this impacts Black and Brown communities the most. And these are communities that are the last bastions of Black home ownership. And so it's important that we stand with each other and help make sure that people are educated and do what they have to do. A lot of times we're seeing that there's seniors who are unaware, or once you pay off your mortgage, and during the time when you have a mortgage, the loan servicer is the one who's paying the property tax and paying the insurance. And you forget that once the mortgage is paid off, you have to actually pick up that role. So that's an issue. And also, we have in our community, what we've seen is that we have a slew of homes that are actually owned by absentee landlords. They don't happen to live in the state, so they do not know what is actually going on at the property. And if they have a tenant, the tenants are receiving the mail. They're not necessarily giving that mail to the owner or letting them know what's happening. So that's the work. So we can work until eventually we have a day where there is no lien sale in New York City, and we have an equitable system that works for community residents. And that's pretty much it. If you want to learn a fuller history of it, we'll share this deck. There's a QR code to that as well. And you can reach out to us if you want to join a volunteer effort, and we'll see you out there.
Thanks so much, Ms. Martinez. Thanks, Ms. Erskine. We're just going to ask you to stay on for a few minutes in case anyone has questions, or are there any questions based on what was shared?
Yeah, I do have one for Allison. Allison, are the houses that are under tax lien, are they like community boards? So like if I called you tomorrow and say, hey, we're the listing, let me see if some of my relatives but I would need 18 and 17. Would I be able to get a list of those?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have our list. This, because I'm presenting for 17, I have just 17, but I have a list of every house in 14, 17, and 18. Those are the areas that we're working on. So
Okay.
you can
I only have,
absolutely reach out.
okay, I only have families 18 and 17. So if you can email me those lists, that'll be great. Actually, you can send me on green.
Anybody, just Joan Erskine here, you can, if you go onto the city, the city website, the tax thing, you can get the list. It's a public list. It has to be. So if you have a particular address that you want to look up, you can just go to the New York City property tax website and bring up the list for Brooklyn and look it up.
I just dropped it in the chat, and you'll see the list there.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about the outreach, what we're doing is the second part of this for the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition. And as I keep saying, every time we meet with the city, we are the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition. We're trying to gather data on, so if you do go out door knocking, it'll be so helpful because we go, is this property homeowner occupied? Is it a rental property? We're trying to gather data on the properties that are on the list so that when we go into discussions with the city about the effect of the tax lien sale and why it should be abolished, we have that data available, because nothing impresses them more than being able to say, this many people, this many houses, this is what the situation is.
And I see George has a question. George, feel free to go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is George State. Yeah, I have two questions about the Rudy asked one of mine. The second one is, did the letters start going out already, or?
The 90-day was definitely sent out already. I took a neighbor, took them with their 90-day form, and I was able to get them a senior exemption, so they're off the list. But that's one out of all of the areas, like 2,700 to go. So, but the first letters are out for the 90 days. The next step will be the 60 days. But we're hoping that we can mount enough people out there to let people know what their options are and take advantage of them as quickly as possible.
Yes, do you have any idea when did it start going out? The reason I'm asking is because I know this Saturday we had a meeting with the seniors at the church. So I wanted them to be on the lookout to see if they received anything. So that's all I was wondering, when did it start going out?
I would assume it probably had to have been around, well, the list was made public on February 12th. So it had to have been around that date.
Thank you.
Has the door knocking campaign started? And if so, how's it going? Because I imagine that knocking on someone's door and then asking about their property details has to be a bit difficult to get people to talk to you, to cooperate.
We have not started the door knocking yet, but that's why we really need like a band of volunteers. And honestly, the goal is, if people can, We want to organize it by having a community map where people are organizing in the areas where they live. So it's more likely that you would not be some stranger walking up and people will shut down. And we have like a walking script. We have a flyer that can be left. And the goal is like, we want to help as many people as we can. That's the other reason why we're utilizing the library spaces and conversations among community members. But the library is a trusted space. We will have like Department of Finance with us as well. So you don't, because the other piece is I want to have a crew of people who do the door knocking, but it has to be a smaller, more trusted crew of people who can sit and go through and help people do the applications, because you are dealing with people's private information, like their social security number and their tax return or other income statements. So I don't want to have that, freely open for, the public to consume.
I'm just wondering, so when you do the door knocking, I guess when you do, if no one is there, are you leaving a letter? Are you leaving a message? I guess one thing I'm thinking of that I know at least one neighbor who probably will lose her home because another neighbor helped her last time when she was on the lien sale. I mean, I think within a week she was losing her home, and he I don't know what he was thinking, but he helped her refinance and get a loan, and was able to get her a loan on the house. And as soon as she got the money, she went on vacation with the money instead of paying the. So now, years later, she's back in the same position. Um, and I'm just wondering, if you knock on someone's door, they may be embarrassed to admit that, oh, wow, I may lose my home, especially elderly people. And so, I mean, when this happened a couple of years ago, I actually looked into it. And for the neighbor I have in particular, I inquired about whether or not I could buy the lien. And that's when I found out, no, you cannot buy a lien. You have to be an LLC, you have to be a corporate, which I find absolutely stunning. I found it absolutely stunning because my thought process is, if I bought the lien, that I could work with her to somehow come up with the money. Like, no more vacations, just kind of sit down and talk to her. They were like, nope, you have to form an LLC, or you have to, which to me means that they're not interested in that house remaining in the community. And so that at least one house on my block went to one of those corporations, because when I looked it up, the owner actually is a corporation in Pennsylvania. And so I'm not really sure if there's something we could do about that, whether or not, again, if your neighbor wants to help you and just buy the lien and to work with you, not like an official bank, but just to help. They were like, no, you could pay it off. If you want to pay it off for her, you could do that. But no, you cannot buy the lien and then work with her to pay off the taxes. So
My hope is that eventually community land trusts will be able to step in and be able to buy liens and be able, because our goal is to keep people in their homes. Like, it doesn't make sense to, it intuitively, if you cannot pay what the city is already charging you, and then I go and take it to the private market and let the private market add fees and additional interest rates
Right.
that are higher on top of it, there's no way you can actually really get out of that cycle.
That's
So
true.
if organizations that are in, whose mission is to keep people in homes are in there,
Right.
our goal is eventually that will be an option. But the reality is, we in that case, like, if a person has defaulted on a payment, the plan that they've
Right.
had, you'd have to have like extenuating circumstances to be able to actually get yourself out of the situation again. Like, the person who's
Exactly.
on the deed has to have died or something, or you have to have a
Right.
serious
Right.
illness or something.
Right. I
So
found
those
that
are the
stunning.
challenges.
Yeah. I found that stunning that if you enter into a payment plan and you miss a payment, they cancel it. They cancel the payment plan. You actually, and you almost don't qualify again for the payment plan. And so
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's
Well, if they're a
just.
senior, one thing that that I learned from a DOF person was that it's almost it's really not great, but it's almost better if they're a senior in that position and they defaulted. It's better to not have the payment plan and just keep with the exemption, and then
Mhm.
the debt ends up, because it ties to the property. Whoever gets the
Mhm.
property in the end for your estate, that if they sell, then that's when they would be paid. However, you still have interest accruing on a daily basis, so
Right,
you could
right.
be like zeroing out value. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, off and on I'll check to see. She's on her property is definitely on the lien sale, and she owes like maybe a little over $30,000. That's just on taxes. That doesn't include whether or not she's paying water, because it's a little bit more difficult. You used to have you have to have your account number to see if she's paying water. But I mean, I remember walking down the street with her. She was like, "No, I'm going to go to these people. They're going to help me save my home." And I'm like, "Where are you going?" You're walking up Utica Avenue. Where? And I didn't even want to look. So even sometimes I look up my window and I see her. I'm like, I don't, because I'm sure she's gotten a letter. Because I looked at her property is on the lien sale. And my other neighbor is like, "Nope, I am done with that. I am not going back to help her." So I'm not, yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just very sad.
Yeah. Well, you can send them to us and we can give it a go.
I don't think you want her coming to you. I think there's a touch of mental illness there. But when they sent her the letter where she was about to lose her home, for some reason, she straightened up. She straightened up greatly. And then when something happened with the neighbor who helped her, she busted out his car window. So, but he wouldn't
Okay.
help her again. So now she's on her own this time. I tried, but no, she's on her own this time.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
So
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My apologies. My name is Jose Velez. I'm the HUD person,
Yes,
and
thank you
I
so
have
much.
to. Okay. I had a death in my family
Oh
about 3 hours
my.
ago, unexpectedly.
Oh my.
Uh,
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I just remembered about the meeting. I really can't even talk right now, to be honest with you.
No,
But I
you
wanted.
don't have to be here, Mr. Velez. We truly appreciate it, but we understand.
Thank you. I can't talk right now because I'm going to get upset. So
Yes.
I'm just going to say I'll be in touch with you in the next day or two, and we'll have to reschedule.
We're
Okay?
so sorry. We're truly sorry.
Condolences.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Please
Thank
accept
you.
my condolences and I'll be in touch with you.
Yes,
This is Miss Frazier.
yes, Ms.
Um,
Frazier.
yes,
Yes,
so
you guys sound wonderful. I can't wait to work with you. I was looking forward to this meeting. I got the call at 4:30, and that's all I can say right now.
We're praying. We're praying, and we truly we feel so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Bye
I
bye.
will see you
Touch.
soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.
My condolences.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is the minister on here who was on the last time? Maybe he can pray, or
From let me see.
That's
I
okay.
don't.
Please, I thought twice about calling you. I didn't want to disturb you, but I also didn't
My
want you to think
Mhm.
that I forgot about you.
My husband's a
So,
minister. If the minister is not on, he can say a prayer.
Yes, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
hold on.
Thank you.
His fam no, his somebody just died and he's upset. He's gonna be leaving, but just give him a little prayer before he leaves.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. God bless you. Everybody can hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yes.
And
thank
I'll
you.
pray. But Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you that you are a God that is in complete control. And we pray for the one who has had a loss in the family, Lord. We pray for those who are still alive, Lord, that your spirit will help them go through this time of change. That they're going through the emotions and the feelings of a loved one passing on. We pray the strength of God on him, or these people, the family, Lord. We pray for a new envision of spirit of life, Lord. And Lord, we thank you. We thank you that we can turn to you for hope in a time of challenge, in a time of that we're living in, Father. And we thank you for your spirit that is here to uplift and to keep us and to help us, Lord, and grant travel and mercy for those who need to travel. And Father, if there's anything else that needs to be prayed for, I pray it for it right now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Amen.
Hey,
Mr. Velez, this is Roderick Daly. I'm chair of the board, Community Board
Hi.
17. I just want to offer my condolences on behalf of the board for your loss.
Thank you.
And take it easy and, just be well. And like I always tell people, just remember the good times. Remember those
Absolutely.
positive memories. Okay? God bless
Yes.
you. And
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
thank you.
you.
Okay.
mm-mm.
Bye-bye.
And
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Take care. Mm-mm. Mm.
Okay.
We're going to remember him. I'm going to keep remembering him as well. It's not easy. I just came back from Belize from a funeral. So and I know we've all been, I can't speak for anyone else, but I came back a little bit over a week ago. So I'm going to remember him. Thanks again, Mr. Velez. I see you're still there. Um, are there any more questions for Ms. Martinez and Ms. Erskine regarding the tax lien? I read up a little bit on the tax lien and only 25 states. I say only, it should be no state that does this, but it's not the entire United States that does it. It's only 25 states, New York being one of them. So hopefully, this will be less and less in the future.
That is the goal. There are plenty other states who have equitable tax collection systems that don't cause displacement. And so we can model ourselves after them. Honestly, I don't know why the city council, when it's sunsetted, they should have let it die instead of voting to pick it back up again for at least the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Are
I
there?
would like to, I'd
There's a
like to add
question.
that, first, I think New York City is the only city that bundles the tax liens like this and will only sell to institutional investors. Other cities and municipalities will sell individual liens. So I miss Miss Sylvester. In other cities, you could have bought your neighbor's tax lien. And oddly enough, that's how I got involved. I knew someone who had tax lien and I called them up and said, "Can I buy it?" And the lady just laughed and she just said, so that's how I got involved as well. But New York City is, and the reason they do it, and this Department of Finance is really, really fond of the tax lien sale. It's twofold. They do not want to become the owner of property. New York City does not want to own these individual properties. They don't want to be landlords. So by institutionalizing and selling the liens, they get out of doing that. They turn over tax collection to an outside agency, which makes their life easier. They don't get stuck with the properties themselves because they don't do foreclosures because they don't want to be a landlord. This had to do from the 70s when all the Bronx was burning and all of that. And the city became the landlord for way too many properties and didn't want to do that. And also the bonds that they sell, the bundled liens. I do not understand this entirely, but it affects the city bond rating and somehow it makes the city's bond rating better. I don't ask me how that happens. I don't know. But there's reasons they do it. And the pièce de résistance. Guess who started the tax lien sale? Giuliani. So
Mm-mm.
yeah, he's still with us. So that's kind of a little bit of the background there.
As they say, the gift that keeps on giving, right? We're still
Oh
getting.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
want to say one more thing because it gets confusing. When they talk about exemptions, People think they're going to be exempted from property taxes. No, you will not be exempted from property taxes. Nobody will be. You will be exempted from being put on the lien sale list. But you will never be, we can't make your property taxes go away. That's not going to happen.
And this can be very confusing for senior citizens. Who knows this stuff? Who understands this stuff? Sometimes I get things in the mail, I have to read it a few times. So I could only imagine what some of them are going through.
Okay.
Are there
I know years ago they used to send out the taxes in like 4 parts. So you would just get it and you would tear off for January to April, and then you would tear off so you would get 4 parts, and you would now they just send you one lump sum, and you're supposed to spend that one lump sum. But I believe both the ladies with the glasses are very photogenic. Have you ever thought of maybe contacting the New York Times, and maybe they can start a series leading up to the lien sale to bring attention to it? I'm not a TV person, but maybe contacting a journalist who's looking for a story, and maybe this will be something
we
that
have
they can focus
contacted
on.
the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition has
Mhm.
been courting media for quite a while. We got some coverage in one of the smaller, is it the City? I think the City, but the Times, the big papers have not been interested so far. We've worked pretty hard. We've had demonstrations at City Hall. We've gotten a little coverage there. But we have Abolish the Tax Lien Sale has done a lot of outreach to media. It's just been difficult to get interest. But thank you. You're right. It's a good suggestion.
All the other nonsense they're talking about, you would think they would want to focus on something that's not sensationalized, but it's realistic, that people could actually possibly lose their homes. I think when I looked at the list, I think they've at least put to the side that you're not able to lose your home if you own water. Because at one point, when you look at the list, it indicates, is this just a depth for water? And some people only had, which it seems kind of ridiculous that you would lose your property because you owe water. I know in Florida, when you owe water, they turn off your water. And so, yes, I noticed at least it seems different this year, almost as though you're only on the list if you owe property taxes.
No, you can
But
only.
I glanced it really quickly.
No,
You can be on the
it
list.
for this water.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can be on it for water. The water liens you can work out with DEP, and there are also options where you can avoid like water cutoff, where they can, depending, especially you have a child under the age of 6 in a home and some other conditions where you can avoid a termination of a water service. But
do they
you can
turn off water?
It says that that's possible.
Okay.
So it's unlikely, but it can happen.
Okay.
It's not, my understanding is that it's pretty drastic. There's been legislation about, no, you don't get to turn off people's water, but they will sell your home they will sell the lien on the water, and then that can, once the lien is sold, there's an outside interest that has financial interest in your property.
Right.
Another thing to think about with the water, sometimes what it is people don't even realize that there is a leak in the underground lines that are running to their home. And then you end up getting a massive bill that you have no idea why it's jumped from 1 month to the next. And there are options that DEP has. There's some programs where they can do like a cut down or a forgiveness if you can show that that's not your normal water pattern. But you still obviously have to address that issue with the leak. So
There was
that is an option out there.
there was someone recently in Queens, she had a bill for 10,000. It was some ridiculous bill. It was on the news the last week or two. And this is a senior citizen as well, and they pretty much like acted like they didn't care. They said, oh well, the leak is the responsibility of the homeowner, so she has to fix
Mhm.
it. It's just blatant, like it's your problem, you fix it.
Right.
Amazing.
DEP,
That's a challenge.
yeah, DEP has, I had a leak once and I'm like, what's going on? So leak, you could actually on DEP have a leak notification. If it seems as though your bill is just outrageous, they'll actually send you an email letting you know your water is more than it should be. You should check for a leak. And when I went into the basement, there actually was a leak. So I still had to pay for it, but at least it was a place that I wouldn't have noticed it. And so,
All right.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions? There's someone at the bottom, it keeps lighting up. We just want to make sure that we're getting everyone who had questions.
Hi, this is Leonie Logan. I just had a comment in terms of the lien and for seniors and their residences. Maybe one of the things that we should be doing is lobbying our elected officials so that they can reach out to other states, other cities where there is some kind of comparable way that they do it, that seniors, people don't lose their homes, and look at these processes and maybe try to see if that's something we can put into place for New York. You know, going, it's wishful thinking, but going forward, maybe this is something we should be looking at.
Well, I can speak to
Yeah.
that. That is the whole point of the Abolish the Tax Sale Coalition, Tax Lien Sale Coalition. That's the whole point of the organization. And we are reaching out, we are exploring other methodologies. We actually made up a whole way to enforce property taxes that did not involve selling the liens. That's what the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition, that's our whole reason of being. So if you can join that as a observer, or I am the rep for Brooklyn. I represent Brooklyn Level Up on the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition. So yeah, we're looking into that heavily. That's why we exist.
Thank you.
So just to wrap it up and just to reiterate how we can reach you, you're going to be at the Clarendon Branch Library on those days that you had mentioned. But Alison and Joan, we can always email or call you. We can direct our neighbors to you. You're looking for volunteers. So just contact you. And if anyone on here would like to join, again, contact you at the number, or we can email.
Both. You can text or email or call. I'll put the numbers in the chat as well. And the
Thank you
contact
so
information.
much for your time. Thank you. Thank you. I know you're extreme. There's a question.
Hello. Yes. Hi. I'm sorry. This is John Dixon. I came on late. I'd just like to get the number because I'm on the phone, so I can't see what number. I'd like to get some more information. So can somebody just say the number so I can
Sure.
contact someone afterward?
Sure. You can call or text 917-680-6964. So 917-680-6964.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? And Alison and Joan, you're welcome to stay on with us. We understand if you have to leave as well. Any other questions, any other comments before we just segue into our next part?
I just have a quick question. Is there any particular neighborhood that the majority of within CB17 that you find that the majority of the neighborhoods have the liens?
It's pretty well spread out everywhere,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
And there are churches on there, there are nonprofits, like it really runs the gamut.
So
Okay.
Park Slope would have as much as CB17.
I'm sorry,
No.
did you say that?
Joan is saying no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well,
Yeah.
CB18 has a little bit more than CB17. but CB14 has far fewer. And as you can see, like Park Slope has very few, Manhattan has like the least. So these are the realities of what we're seeing.
Right, right. I see George. George, your hand is up again.
Yes, just a quick question for Alison. Is it possible, because I just went on the website, and it's very difficult. Well, at least I found it very difficult navigating, trying to find the homes in this area. So if she could email
We
the ones for CB17, it would be appreciated. Or if she has a
okay.
link for that we could put on the chat, it would be easier for us to look at the one for CB17 only.
Okay, we have a public version because we have a version that we don't share because it has the actual amounts that people owe, but we have a public version that is broken down by community board. So I can share that.
Yeah,
I'll put
I
it in the
just need
chat.
the addresses, to make sure.
So instead of you sharing it, Allison, I'm wondering if we can get it from you and share it with your deck. Would that make sense, Miss Fraser?
Or she could send it to me and I'll send it out to everyone else.
Along with the deck that they shared tonight, right? If we didn't already share that.
Yeah, the deck, and could you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, the deck, and if she send the deck and the information, I'll just blast it out to all the members.
Thank you. So
You're
thanks so much again, Joan. Thanks so much again, Allison. And thanks to our minister who prayed, in case we didn't say that before. Where are there any, you know what, let me just try to go back. We're not going to do everything that Mr. Velez was planning on doing, but he did share with us an FAQ. This FAQ has to do with the shower bus. And this shower bus, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the tax lien sale, and I'm saying, well, yeah, with the tax lien sale, it's going to lead to more homelessness. And the shower bus is one way that we're making an attempt to mitigate the effects of homelessness in our community. It does not solve the problem, but it helps people who are out there on the streets. So we're going to have a more in-depth question and answer when Mr. Velez is able to. But some people are asking, why a shower bus? And we've seen an increase in homelessness in our community. And this shower bus, it's not only a shower bus. I've done a little bit more research. We know what we're seeing on the street. We're not experts in every area.
Dr. Udo, hold on 1 second.
Time to make your way to the French Tourney Lounge.
Everyone, please mute your mic. You're talking and it's coming through.
So we can get
For somebody who's on
started.
the phone, please mute your mic. Thank you.
I'll mute everyone.
So I'll just unmute Ms. Fraser if you have to mute me.
Yeah, I am getting there. Okay. Mute all. Okay, you could unmute yourself.
All right, so the shower bus, for those of us who haven't heard before, my colleague before me was able to write for a grant, and she was able, this is Miss Perline Fields, and I say rest in peace. We're trying to keep her work alive as well. This is important work. She was able to get a grant from Yvette Clarke's office, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's office, and this grant is for 358 grand. No, this grant, they're not just going to give it to us. There are processes in place as to how this will be done. So Mr. Velez has sent out an FAQ. We're going to share that again as well, so we can all familiarize ourselves. And then when he's able to, if we have additional questions for him, we're going to be able to ask the questions. But the way the shower bus works, and I'm just going to read a few of it here from what I have in my notes. So the shower bus is a mobile unit that's going to go from neighborhood to neighborhood. Here is where our homeless, or as we say now, our unhoused community residents will be able to take hot showers on the bus. There are also restrooms with toilets and sink. But most importantly, it's not only coming on the bus and getting a shower. Here is where Community Board 17 will be able to do additional outreach. And this outreach includes mental health, peer counseling, housing, employment, and other social services that will be available. Again, the bus travels from area to area. We will need volunteers. It will be sanitized between each use. And there are actual shower bus already operating in Brooklyn. For example, there's a Brooklyn Community Service shower bus that's available. And we can send a picture as well. We can send like a brief synopsis of how it will work. And again, for everything to work, volunteers will be needed. So there will be a much more in-depth discussion regarding this shower bus. Any immediate questions that I might be able to answer though?
It's not a question, but a comment. I had the pleasure of sitting at a table with a minister from the God Squad. I don't know if she's in this meeting. If you are, could you unmute yourself? She happens to already have a shower bus, and I was having this conversation with her, and I told her about this meeting. I did ask her to join us. One of the problems that she has is she have the shower bus, but not the finances to operate it. So she wanted to attend this meeting to find out if there could be some kind of collaboration. But unfortunately, Mr. Velez had to leave. I don't know if she's in the meeting, but if she's not, I'll reach out to her and let her know that Mr. Velez was unable to make his presentation, and hopefully she could come back and ask the question, because I told her this is our first time. I am not sure if the funding that we receive can be used towards her shower bus. I am not sure, but those are questions that we were prepared to ask this evening. So thank you, and I'll prepare my questions for the next meeting when Mr. Velez is here.
And I hope that she will be here as well, because collaborating instead of starting something new
Absolutely.
would make more sense. What I read in the FAQ, we have approximately 8 years to spend that funding, but at the same time, we can also reapply for grants for it to continue. But I'm not going to pretend I'm the expert. I'm going to wait for the expert to pretty much answer in-depth question. Mr. Tate, you have a comment or a question, then Ms. Martinez?
Yes, my question is, Dr. Renaud, is that you mentioned that the bus will be going from community to community. So basically my question is, how often would it be in Community Board 17 and for how long?
And when I say community to community, I should have said more, we want to streamline it and keep it in Community Board 17. We don't know how half of this will work yet. And I'm glad that Ms. Fraser spoke with God Squad. We've reached out to this Brooklyn Community Service. We have to see what they're doing as well. So for example, let's say we don't have unhoused people in our community that are using it. It wouldn't make sense for it to just sit here while maybe someone in Crown Heights can use it. So we don't know. I don't have like detailed answers for all of these, but we're definitely going to keep it in mind and make sure that we're utilizing it properly. I am not sure, and I wouldn't want to give like an incorrect response.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Ms. Martinez?
I was just curious about two things. One, if you've already collected data about where the locations are most likely to be, where you would need to have the bus. Like, I don't know if you're in contact with like groups like Breaking Ground or whoever who may have like data that you can use for that. And then I was just wondering, where does it get stored?
And I'm writing that here, and I can answer part of this. We haven't collected data, but we've reached out to Breaking Ground. They are the biggest organization in Manhattan. And I know they are experts because they've been doing this for a while. They have that big hotel in Manhattan as well, where they have their annual fundraisers and meetings and everything else. But yes, we will be working with them, and we definitely need the data, because where are we? Who are we servicing? I mean, I walk on Flatbush Avenue and near King's Theater, and I see a lot of homeless people, but maybe there are more people on Church Avenue. So yes, we've reached out to them, and we will be working with Breaking Ground and other organizations as well. I know they're a tightly run organization from what I've seen online and initial outreach. It looks like they definitely do know what they're doing. So we will reach out again and make sure that we're doing this correctly. In terms of storage, I'm going to say maybe near Community Board 17, but I'm not sure. Chair Daly is here, Ms. Fraser is here. They might say, mm-mm.
Well, you never know, because we are allowed to have a no parking sign in front of the office. It's just that I've never applied for it because I do not drive, and we have lots of parking space around the office. At least our current parking space. So I don't think a storage would be an issue. We could just reserve a parking space at the front of the office for that shuttle bus.
And these are all good
Maybe-
questions and comments. I'm glad you're here. Yes, Ms. Martinez.
I was just gonna say maybe this might be an opportunity to reach out to Noah. Is it Noah Katz from Pathmark? Maybe being able to park it off the street and in the Pathmark lot, which is behind the office, might be an option.
Right, and this is
why I said in front of the office, because we have the cameras there. In the back, I'm not sure. We have any camera. Remember that lady was killed, stabbed right there in the parking lot.
That's true.
Oh, yes,
So
yes,
that's why I
yes.
suggested the front of the office, because the camera covers Albany Avenue close to Dollar General.
I'm making a note of it here, unless maybe there an additional camera can be put in the back, right? But who's gonna? I'm making a note of it as well, though. Miss Faison, you have something or no? I thought I heard.
Well, I was thinking that if there are some businesses in the area, there used to be auto bodies or some gated area or garaged area might be the best option, even if they were willing to donate the space, because if you have supplies in it, I think it might be kind of an invitation for vandalism or theft.
All right. Thanks so much. Again, this is to be continued. We don't have all the answers, but we have this funding and we want to utilize it. We want to make sure that we use it. Any last minute questions or comments before we go to unfinished business? Before we do unfinished business, I just want to point out that we've received an email. Chair Daly, do you want to speak on the 15 properties that are available, the refurbished and the new ones? If you're still with us, if you're not in your spa.
I'm here, but it's just a listing. I'm part of the board of Erasmus Neighborhood Federation, and so they sent out a listing of possible low-income housing or housing to begin with around the city that people can apply for. Sometimes you call, you apply in person, or you send an email. That listing has been placed on our website, Community Board 17 website, and is also part of our newsletter as well. There are thousands of apartments there. If you know anyone who's interested in 1, 2, studio 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, and there are places there where it looks at salary and the range of salary towards the range of the apartment. But do check it out, take a look at it, and get it done, or send it to somebody who you know who might need it. I want to talk about one thing, just that I know we've mentioned it before and it's up, and I think the applications are due or close to due. We're looking to hire a community associate at the board. The starting salary is around 50, depending on your qualification, up to about 55,000. Somebody with a college degree and somebody who's interested in community and community service. And some of these things that we're talking about here at the Housing and Block Association Committee is what we're looking for to get to our neighbors out there, to get to events, set up tables. So if you know somebody who's interested in doing that outreach, they please do go to the website, and it's right there at Community News. You just click on Community News and the job qualification is there. Send in a cover and resume to our district manager Frazier or assistant district manager Naushin Farrow. So thank you.
And application deadline is the end of this month.
Thanks, Chair Daly. Thanks, Ms. Fraser. Now, these 15 buildings, it really hurts my heart when people are not using them. I've looked at all 15, and I referenced someone from my church. She was able to get into one of these new buildings recently, and she got into one of these new buildings with the help of NHS. So we want to put a plug for anyone who's here, or if you can pass it on. Sometimes when our community residents are looking at these applications, they're saying it's confusing. So we just want to remind them that this is where NHS comes in. This is where Erasmus Neighborhood Federation comes in. And this is where FDC comes in as well, Flatbush Development Corp. So please let them know. We're going to keep sending out this list, and we're going to keep repeating it, that there are people here to help them. So they're not doing this alone. And I just want to point out a few of the upcoming events with NHS. On March 1st, there's a first-time homebuyers orientation. March 12th, property management. March 13th, renter and homebuyers education. And March 7th, in-person tenants' rights. So we're going to put this in an email. We have it at the monthly meeting. We have a newsletter format where we have all of these organizations listed on there. Please go on their website. Please utilize the services. We literally have grants at NHS. I signed off on 2 grants this week. And Ms. Faison, correct me if I'm making it bigger than it is, but these grants are for 25 grand. When I'm putting my name on these grants, I'm like, yes, a community member will be helped again. So the grants are specific to veterans, there are certain grants, but please reach out to NHS, reach out to FDC. We are eligible, but we have to reach out. We have to provide the paperwork. We have to provide the data, as Ms. Martinez pointed out earlier, so that we can use up these funding. FDC, we're going to be having a few workshops with them in the future. We're waiting to hear back from them. These workshops, again, it's to help our community. A few things regarding unfinished business. After the last meeting, an attendee had asked what could be done regarding the new apartments that they're saying sometimes residents cannot get into these apartments. Ms. Fraser, if I can ask you just to point out what you've done in regards to outreach to Crystal, Ms. Hudson, and there was one other person that we had reached out to. Regarding coming on these meetings, we've reached out to Council Member Hudson, who's the chair of the Housing Committee.
Yes, they did promise to follow up. The dates that we had, they were Councilmember Hudson was unavailable. I'll try to see if she's willing to attend our meeting in April, maybe. I'll send another invite to her.
And then you had also reached out to Housing and Buildings, which is Council Member Perrine, I believe.
Yeah, it's both of the same. But I believe Hudson will probably be able to get Hudson as opposed to the other council member. So I will definitely follow up with that. I'll make a note right now. And I'm going to ask our chief of staff if she can attend the April meeting.
All right, thanks for that again. Are there any questions or any new business that anyone would like to add, or any housing initiatives that you're aware of that we haven't heard of?
I would like to take the time to congratulate you on receiving tomorrow a Woman of Distinction Award from Rodney's Bouchat Hermlin Assemblywoman in the housing category. And to thank you for your unwavering support of the community at large. And I'm addressing Carol.
Marjorie, thank you so much. And I come from a community. I migrated here in the 80s, and I grew up in a yard where people had their homes and it was so community oriented. And I came here and I was a little bit shocked that people were being prevented from purchasing homes regarding redlining and regarding suburbanization and regarding we're not going to give you this loan. So that's kind of why I try to remain, I truly believe that everyone needs a safe place to call home. And it just so happens that on my block, a founder of NHS, a co-founder lives here, and we always speak about housing and how can we try to do something to mitigate what we're seeing. So I'm still appalled that me coming from a third world country, that people are helped to own. So that's why when I found organizations such as NHS, CB17, any organization that's going to say, hey, here is how you do it. I just love organizations such as this. But thank you so much. And I really, really want to encourage people to apply for these homes, right? Whatever it is that we can do, and we want you to start holding this community board more accountable. I keep telling people, email us. Miss Fraser, I go in the inbox and I only have 2 emails. I'm like, this is boring. You have to email us. So please email us. We want to make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, not just providing lip service in a meeting, then it falls flat.
We email and we also encourage everyone to visit the website. We have so much information on the website. And also, please, if you're interested in receiving our newsletter, please let me know. Send me a message in there. I try not to fill up people's inbox, but if you're interested in us adding you to our, Allison, do you receive our newsletter? I believe it's fantastic.
I do.
Yes, it's a great start for us. I mean, and we're continuing to enhance that newsletter on a monthly basis. So feel free. This month we will be highlighting a few of our sheroes in our community, and so we're doing great things. Thank you, Dr. Renaud, for the phenomenal job that you continue to do, and accept my congratulations too, and I'll be there to cheer you on.
And I want to say right back on you ladies, because you do a lot of work, and I know you do. Marjorie is at every event. Marjorie is pushing a lot of housing initiatives on the back end. And I'm only speaking to the people that I'm aware of. Miss Erskine has been doing it. Allison, you've been doing it.
Oh,
I have a note here regarding the Sears. Do you have an update for us since you're here, Allison? How can we get some of those Sears units for people in our community?
Well, when the marketing period comes, which I actually don't know when that will start, there hasn't been much of an update. And I only honestly hear about it when I go to the Block Association meeting within CB14. But when the marketing period starts, they will have to notify CB17, but we should actually be reaching out to Clipper Equity, especially because of the rapid pace that they're doing of building those buildings, because there are affordable housing opportunities that will be available on the 17 side. So, and the 14 side that we should be taking advantage of. So we'll have
Got
to
it.
follow up on that.
And sometimes some people say when they're looking for new to try to get into these buildings, would you suggest Housing Connect, or would you suggest New York, Yes in My Backyard, or we shouldn't be looking at one of these?
I think everyone should be in Housing Connect. I think anyone 18 and up should be in Housing Connect, because it's not as though it's a guarantee that, I put I submit a profile today and tomorrow I have housing. It takes time. But
Yep.
I think everyone should be in there in every platform available, having and ready and constantly looking. They're also, while the vast majority of them are rentals, there are occasions on Housing Connect where there are opportunities to purchase and own. So they're rare, but they do come up, and people should be paying attention to them.
Thanks for your insight as well. Are there any other info that we can share? We're going to put all of this in the newsletter. We're going to email it out to the same email that came out to you, and we're going to have copies at the next community board meeting. Anything else though that we can share that would assist in terms of housing, in terms of block association?
I just want to make sure to invite all of your listeners to our general board meeting on March 19th to please do come out to the board. There are a lot of issues in other committees that and conversations in other committees and concerns, and hear our elected officials to come out and hear our meeting March 19th at downstate, right, in the auditorium. And again, if you're on the mailing list, you should get an invite. But if you're not, like Ms. Frazier said, please shoot her an email at sfrazier, that's Frazier with an S, ER at cb.nyc.gov. Or you can send one to me at rodaily at cb.nyc.gov.
And lastly, if there's nothing else, thanks, Chair Daly. Last meeting, we had Miss Belim, Fatima Mohammed, Ayana Giles, and Pastor John, all who said that they were willing to become committee members. We will be emailing you. But if anyone else here would like to be committee members, or would like to do more work with Brooklyn Level Up, or anything that you heard on here, please let us know, and we're gonna reach out to you. Yes, Mr. Tate.
Oh, yeah, sorry, had a problem unmuting. Yeah, I do have a question regarding the Housing Connect, because what happened, I get the emails from them, but I never see anything regarding senior housing. So I don't know if there's a different listing where I could, because I try to help out as many seniors as possible, but Housing Connect does not show anything regarding seniors. I don't know if I'm missing something, and you guys could help me out.
Does anyone know if they list seniors? Because the list that I have with the 15, I didn't see anything listed that's specific to seniors either.
They do from time to time, but I haven't seen any recently.
Is there
Yeah,
like a special search though, or?
There's
When
not a
we-
special search.
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Ms. Frazier.
No. Go ahead, Allison, you're the expert here.
I'm not an expert at all. I'm just gonna say that it's because it's housing for everyone, and honestly, some of the other housing that's on there is actually not affordable when you look at the income requirements.
That is
So
true.
you have to look at one of the easier ways to do it is to, if you set your filter to like tends to be like to the ones that have like the lowest income requirements, but it will say that the particular property is a senior housing property. But the reality is there are not enough senior housing properties in our community in particular. So that's the challenge. There's just not enough. Like Bethany was the last one that you know about, and we don't even know. I don't even know if other people who applied. Even though we actually had to again use the library to help seniors create profiles and set up emails, because a lot of the people who you will be targeting with that do not have emails in the first place, so it doesn't even make sense. But that's another story. But it's you really just have to like search for the word senior and see what comes up, but it really isn't. There's not that many, honestly.
And Bethany was a while ago, right?
Oh yeah. I think
Yes,
no, that process
couple
is
months.
yeah.
I thought it was a little bit longer. I'm glad it's not longer. Thanks so much again. Miss Fraser, do we need to do roll call, or you're just going to get everyone's names
I,
from?
I have two phone numbers here ending with 70 and 11. I believe 70. If those two persons could just give me their names on record, I'm fine. I have the names here already. 3476 and the last two numbers are 70, and you have 7185, whatever number comes in between, and the last two numbers are 11. If I can get the names of those two persons, I'm great. I'm good with the roll call. Three, 4, 7 number, 6, and the last two digits is 70, 718 number, 5, and the last two digits are 11.
I believe that might be Ed Cameron. Mr. Cameron, if that's you, can you unmute?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hi.
Mr. Cameron?
I was, no, this is Mr. Dixon. I was muted. I couldn't, I forgot the recording said do *6, but y'all couldn't hear me.
Okay,
Because
that's
you had,
Mr. Dixon.
yes.
Yeah, but I was referring to the one ending in 11, starting with 7185. It should be 501 8011. So.
Right. But I think, well, everyone, you muted, all the numbers were muted who on phone. So maybe they could probably trying to, they couldn't get through, can't get through to you. So maybe you can unmute. I just remember that the recording said do *6 to unmute because you couldn't hear me either.
Okay, so I just unmute. Let me see, unmute all.
Okay. I am John Jerry Dixon, and I'd like to get the information for the housing and the newsletter. Could I have that newsletter being sent to me? I don't know if are you doing email or address.
Could you put your email in the chat for me, please? Or you could call the board's office. Call me the board.
Okay,
Call me at the board's office.
give me the board's office. Just give me the number, please.
Yeah, 718-434.
434.
718-434-3072. And anyone else interested, please reach
Okay.
out to the office and give us your email address, and we'll add you to the mailing list for the newsletter.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Mr. Dixon. We're fine then, Ms. Fraser, right? With just listing that number. And I'm mindful of people's time. It's now 9 p.m. And anything else before we leave, though? Anything else before we officially adjourn?
I have I guess a selfish request. So at least in my neighborhood, I have a lot of new people. And it's one issue that I'm dealing with is that when you have a new neighbor and they're doing construction, if we could possibly get someone from the Department of Buildings to come in and discuss if there's damage to your home, how do you deal with new neighbors? So I know at least a good number of my neighbors are dealing with that issue. And I know I've been back and forth down to the Department of Buildings, and one of the things that they can do is they can actually put sensors in your home to make sure that your home is protected. So that's just something I know, at least in my neighborhood, that we're getting a lot of new people who are just, and the houses are attached and they're causing a lot of damage, but you don't realize it until later on. And when you go down to Department of Building, they just kind of shrug your shoulders saying, hey, you should have contacted us at the beginning. As soon as you see a hammer, his exact words was, as soon as you see a hammer, you should contact us. So I know a good number of my neighbors are dealing with it.
No worries, Miss Sylvester. We've written it here. We're going to try to reach out so we can have a speaker in the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to, we truly, truly appreciate your time. To our guest speaker, Mr. Velez, we're praying. I know we're holding him up in prayers. Miss Martinez, Miss Erskine, minister that prayed, and to everyone on here. We truly, truly appreciate it. If we can ask someone to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Leonie Logan, motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Miss Logan. If we can have someone second it.
Marjorie.
Simone Sylvester.
Oh, there she goes.
Thanks, Marjorie.
Oh,
Thanks, Simone. Both seconded. Wait, it's a tie. It's a tie. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Brooklyn Level Up. We will be spreading the word. Thank you so much again. And we're going to be following up. Thanks, Miss Fraser. Thanks, Chair Daly.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Stayed with us the entire time, Chair Daly. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We're praying for you as well, my Lord. Did you have some good cold foot soup?
No, but my wife did make some good stew chicken, so I'm gonna eat that now.
Wait, I was gonna say ackee and sawfish.
Oh no, a callaloo and saltfish I had earlier.
Look at me just yelling anything. Don't even know the Jamaican stuff.
Yeah, well, Belize and Jamaica close, close.
But you know what though? Honestly, I'll drop it off at the office. I brought some sour sop leaf. Everyone is saying sour sop leaf cures everything now.
That's what I heard. Honestly, I heard.
Don't drop it off at the office, Miss Fraser. My teeth it. No.
No, I wouldn't steal it. I'll take it, Mr. Daly.
He's gonna boil it and drink it. You're gonna see her. You're gonna be like, wait a minute.
You're just gonna bully me. All right, no problem.
She's gonna boil it and drink it, and you're gonna say, where did she find the fountain of youth? Where?
Yes, exactly.
Chair Daly, take care of yourself, Mr. Tate. Miss Morman, take care of yourself. We truly appreciate it.
Enjoy.
Miss Fraser, thank you so much again.
Always a pleasure. Have a good evening, and I am going to end the meeting for all now.
Take care.
Bye.